Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello friends, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the new session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC Prelims geography question. We already did a certain sessions related to the economy, but this session is totally different from what we did for economy. Here, we are going to add the prediction part. So what is the possible question they may ask for 2025? So please make a note of it. It will be most useful for your upcoming prelims exam. Okay, so let's begin the session. Okay, so this question is related to the ports, and it was asked in 2023. Before going into this question, you have to know that why they asked this question. See, this is the direct current affair based question. 9 Indian ports ranked among top 100 in Containers Port Performance Index of 2023. This was in the news. So it is related to the port. So that is the idea. They ask the question from the ports. So mostly aspirants will think that they will be asked from this container port performance index. It is not like that. Okay, so they will try to connect it with the fringing topic. Okay, so fringe topics. So the fringe topic is here is the major ports. So India's major ports, the west, in the west coast, what are the major ports, and the east coast, what are the major ports? So in that way, they will ask question. So by the way, only they ask a question. Another one current affair that was significantly lower the port turnaround time will attract the global shipping lines. That is also in the news in 2023. So based on these things, they ask the question from the ports. So first of all, before getting into this question, you have to know that what is the container's turnaround time. So container turnaround time is nothing but the total time a container spent at a port from the arrival to the departure. It includes the time taken for unloading from a ship, customs clearance, storage, loading onto the another transport mode. So this is called as the container turnaround time. In 23 to 24, India's major ports improved their containers turnaround time to 22.57 hours, reducing the delay and increasing the efficiency. Why this container turnaround time is most important one? Because it is directly connected to the ease of doing business. If you are able to reduce this turnaround time means it will increase the investments. So this increasing investments will increases the GDP of India. So there will be the economic growth. Okay. So by the way, the containers turnaround time is the one of the important parameter for the investments. So port, when it comes to the port regions, they are mainly focusing on reducing this containers turnaround time. This is one of the major thing. So now we are going to discuss about the question. Okay. So first is Kamarajar Port. So Kamarajar Port is actually located in the Ennur. So Ennur Port is also called as the Kamarajar Port. It is the first major port in India registered as a company. That is true. So it is actually registered as the public sector company. This is the first port, Kamarajar Port. Okay, that is true. Next, Muntra Port is the largest private owned port in India. Yes, that is also correct. It is owned by the Adani groups. That is also right. Next, Visakhapatnam, largest container port in port of India. That is the wrong thing. Actually, it is not Visakhapatnam port. It is actually the Jawaharlal Nehru port. That is the largest container port in India. And also when it comes to the deep sea port. Okay, so statement is wrong. So based on that, only 2 pairs are right. So the answer is B. Before discussing about various sports, you have to know about the geography of this sport. So what is the geographical factor of this sport is? Yes, here we can discuss. So in this west coast and the east coast. So when it comes to the west coastal region, it is actually called as the natural harbor. The reason behind it is called as the natural harbor is it is of deep sea slopes. So from this continent, okay, if you are moving towards the ocean, then it is called as the continental slope. This continental slope in this western host is actually deep sea. If the ship is approaching the port region, it won't be stuck. Okay, so it won't stuck and it can easily reach this port region. So that is the only reason we are calling this west coast as the natural harbor. But when it comes to the east coast, it is actually shallow slope or else gradual slope. So due to that reason, if the ship is try to approaching this port region means it will be stuck. Okay, it can't reach the port region. That is the major issue when it comes to the eastern coast. But sir, there are many ports in the eastern coast also. For example, Chennai port is there, Ennur port is there, and also Tuticorin port is there, Haldia port is there. There are many ports. Then these ports are, so for constructing these ports, they need to do the dredging. Okay, so which means they have to sweep away that soil region. So that is the main thing they have to do that. So here most of the ports are artificial. So the geographical benefits for this western side is not present in the eastern host. That is the major distinction from the western host and the eastern host. Okay, so benefit for the western host is it is a natural harbor. Okay, so this is the main thing you need to note. Then we are going to discuss that what are the possible questions in that same manner they may ask. So you have to note that what are the ports and what is the significance of that port. That is the main thing you need to know, because if they are going to make a question in the same pattern, they are going to ask that only. So what is the major ports and their significance? So when it comes to the first, Kandla port or Deen Dayal port, it is in the Gujarat. It is the India's largest port by cargo handling. Okay, so please make a note of it. Next is Mumbai port. It is in the Maharashtra, one of the oldest port. Next, Jawaharlal Nehru port. It is in the Maharashtra, largest container port. It is the most important one. Please note it. Next is Marmagova port. It is in the Goa, major iron exporter. Next, Mangalore port, it is in Karnataka, key export of the coffee cashew. Next, Kochi port in Kerala handles the petroleum, that is the normal thing. Then the Chennai port in Tamil Nadu, India's second largest container port. So the first largest is actually Jawaharlal Nehru. So it is first, second is Chennai. Some factual questions they may ask. Next, Ennur port. See, main thing you need to focus here is so Ennur and then only Chennai port and then only it is a Tuticorin port. So from the north to south, Ennur is the first, next is Chennai. So most of the aspirants will get confused that which is in the north. So Ennur is in the north, then only it is Chennai. Okay, so that is the main thing you need to note that, because they may ask you to arrange from the north to south. So in that, the only confusion part is Ennur and then Chennai. So Ennur, then only it is Chennai. Okay, so that is the main thing you need to note it. So next is Ennur port, Tamil India's first corporate port under the Companies Act. Next, Tuticorin port in Tamil Nadu, key port for Sri Lanka trade. That is okay. Next, Visakhapatnam port, Andhra, major exporter of the iron ore. That is okay. Pradeep, Paradip port in the Odisha, largest coal and iron ore handling. And then Kolkata port. This is the different one. In the West Bengal, India's only riverine port. Okay. And the last is the Haldia port, handles the jute, steel, and the chemicals. So these are the major ports and the factual parts related to that ports. Okay, so it's better to make a note of it. It is most important one. Other than that, so Visakhapatnam port is the largest natural deep sea port, and then the Gangavaram port is the India's deepest port, which is operated in a private. So these are the some important ports and their significant that uniqueness of that port. So please make a note of it. They may ask a question from that. Okay. Thank you.